Okay, well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining today. Wanted to give you several highlights, several updates, some of which we did cover yesterday. I want to thank you first and foremost. I got a great response to the email I sent out yesterday morning regarding the future of these calls. Obviously, it's something we've been doing now for many weeks. In fact, today is the 46th call we've done. So hard to believe, but we've been here every official workday since March 24th. So 46 calls we've done and had a lot of speakers, a lot of good information. Obviously now things are changing. People are going back to work. So we want to look to be able to modify that. I would tell you that there were two common themes from the email that I sent out regarding that yesterday. Number one, it sounds like there is a desire to move to a less frequent basis. So that is something we're going to look at probably or possibly as soon as next week. We need to discuss that internally, but either like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday situation. So that's something we're looking at. But what I also heard loud and clear was as businesses continue to reopen, having continued guidance about how to do it properly. Pretty much every company I talk to, they have some type of a plan and they probably have some access to equipment, but you want to do it the right way. You don't want to run afoul of the law, and you want to do your best to protect your workers and your customers. So the first thing I'm trying to do, and it's not today because I want to give it some time to be able to get the word out, but either tomorrow or Friday, I'm asking our community health director, Larry Johnson, who's been on the call. He was on probably 3 weeks ago, to get back on. He has put together, on behalf of the county, some good reopening guidelines. That was emailed out to all of you probably about that time, about 3 weeks ago. And I will send that out again. Too, but he would be good to have on again to give some guidance, tips on how best to reopen. And so hopefully we'll get him on tomorrow or Friday. Also, we keep talking about this. I'm getting regular calls, emails, texts from companies that need equipment. We are now up to, I believe, 16 different providers. We have assembled a list of those companies that can provide that. Jody has put that together. In fact, Jody, can you give everybody, I think everybody has that, but can you really quick just give them a refresh on the flavor of who all is in that spreadsheet?
You want actual businesses or just kind of what is available? What
they do. Yeah, just what they do. So we have masks and hand sanitizer.
Mask, hand sanitizer, portable storage. Let's see, tooling automation, auto detailing and fogging, software, so there are apps, face shields, disinfecting lights. So there's a whole temperature screening and basically safety checks before employees go into work, 3D printing and design services. So there's a big range of items that are available.
Yep. So if you want a copy of that, and once again, I think we sent it out a couple times, but I know our emails can get buried with all the ones they send out. So if you want a copy, though, you can either email me or you can email Jody, JROETHELE at SEDPweb.org. So I think we're going to continue to make that a primary comment going forward on the calls, just to do everything we can to help all of you as you work to reopen, as you work to be safe, protect your customers and employees. We want to get you that information. Actually, Jody, you just sent me an email, and there's some webinars coming up this week. In fact, there's one this afternoon. Do you want to touch on those webinars real quick?
Sure. SBDC has a couple of webinars, one today at 2 and one Friday. The one today is reopening your service-based business. So some of the examples they give are fitness centers, salons, any service-based business. This is one for you to register for. And then on Friday, there is a cybersecurity that will talk about some of the cyber scams that have come out during COVID-19. So Justin does have those links, and he'll send those out. But they'd be good ones if you do have that service-based business. I know all of these SCDC webinars have been very informative, so it's probably a good one to jump on today if you can.
Thank you, Jody. And yes, I do have this right in front of me, and I'm sending it out to, as some people know, I send out emails to the group while the call goes on just to get the information in your hands. So you should be getting that here very shortly. I am having a call, by the way, later this morning, with the gentleman who is moving his cybersecurity firm to Owasso. It's a company named BitLift, about scheduling our own sort of local cybersecurity webinar with a local firm. So having a local provider is always a good thing to have. So we're working on trying to get that put together right now. So more to come on that. Let's see. This is another deadline coming up. I sent out an email on this yesterday. This is for nonprofits and government entities in the county. There is a placemaking grant available through our I-69 thumb region. The deadline for that is actually Monday of next week. $2,000 grant to do community-type projects. Once again, it could be a government-type project, a downtown-type project. It could be a nonprofit type project, but it's all about creating a sense of place in the community. So just another pot of money that's out there. As I said, you should have gotten an email on it here yesterday, but if any of you want to apply, that deadline is coming very, very quickly. A couple of other things. Emily Morrow was on the call last week from United Way talking about the need for a trailer. So we have a local nonprofit that needs to get access to a trailer for actually can storage. As we know, because we're not allowing can and bottle return right now in Michigan, those things are piling up. So we've had some of our local robotics teams that have asked for donations of cans. They've set up around town. We've got another one that's looking for donations of cans. So please, if anyone on the call has access to a trailer, it could be a semi-trailer, it could be a smaller trailer, but something to be able to put cans on, that would be very much appreciated. Okay, a couple of new items, and some of these are going to be very geographically specific. But I wanted to highlight, and actually they're pretty much concentrated in the Owasso area, but we've got some new marketing information coming out for something called an opportunity zone. And I won't go into too much detail here, but in a nutshell, it allows people and businesses that have capital gains taxes that they basically, if they don't want to pay them, they can park that money in an opportunity zone, in investing in businesses and real estate, and defer or eliminate those capital gains. So this was a federal program that was put together as a way to try to entice more investment, particularly in census tracts that were economically struggling across America. So long story short, unfortunately, we were only designated one census tract in Shiawassee County. That is in Owasso, predominantly downtown Owasso, but it could mean the opportunity for some tax advantages. So it's a little bit of a niche product out there, but we've got some information. Our I-69 Thumb Region partners have put together on it. I'm going to be sharing that out with everybody. Another thing that's new that's coming online that we're excited about, and this would actually be something, if there's any friends on the call in the architectural and engineering arena, we have received multiple site readiness grants through the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. And what that means is those are grants to be able to do some due diligence on land sites in Shiawassee County to try to encourage more building development. And so we had one direct grant to support the development of an industrial park in Corunna. And there are two more grants that are just coming online right now to support development of a couple of sites in the Durand-Vernon area. So it could be an opportunity for some work for planning and engineering firms that we work with to work on that. So more to come on that here shortly, but if anybody on the call is interested, let me know. We are also having, in that same vein, a call with the Economic Development Administration this afternoon. We've talked about that before. We've had Lee Sherry on the call. He is the EDA representative. Long story short, Lee has access to grant money to help with economic development as it relates to either public infrastructure, water lines, sewer lines, or I think what's really intriguing is the possibility of them funding new industrial building development. So I know there's some industrial folks on the call, people that have looked for space, for manufacturing, for warehousing. We don't have it. We have very low vacancy rate. This would be a possible grant to help build new buildings to accommodate either existing business growth or possibly helping to attract new business to the community. So, excited to explore both of those opportunities. Let's see. Talked about that. Brent is not on the call, but he wanted me to give you all an update on the funding side. Main Street lending, we have talked about that before. That is a sort of a hidden pot of money that's sitting out there at the federal level at $600 billion. You're not hearing a lot about it right now because it's in the purview of the Federal Reserve. So the Federal Reserve actually has control over that as a direct lending tool, which is a little bit different because most of the lending tools we've worked with have been through the Small Business Administration. So they had originally intended this program to be for big business. So you would need to borrow at least $1 million. Then it got scaled back to $500,000. Now, apparently, there's a group of senators that are trying to make it even more flexible. So I don't know if it's going to turn into some kind of a PPP type deal, but the money is appropriated, and they're trying to figure out what to do with it. So we are definitely going to continue to maintain on that, guidance and trying to identify how it might work. And as soon as we have anything more, we'll let you know. Also was on a call this morning on PPP. We talked about that yesterday. There was new guidance that was released on Friday as it relates to PPP. We're trying to get through that, trying to crunch through that, get some input. Might even try to get a representative to talk about that on a call, maybe even yet this week. We did have that webinar last week. Hopefully some of you were on that. If any of you have PPP questions, particularly loan forgiveness questions, or if you want to try to still apply for funding, please do let me know on that. I will say this, and this is not anything to laugh about, but some of you are getting to the end of your PPP. In fact, a couple of you have already expended your dollars. I've talked to a few businesses already. One of the questions I heard was, can we go get more money? Can we go for a round two? If we get our first loan forgiven, can we go get a second one? I don't know the answer to that yet, but the longer this economic crisis continues on, I'm not going to be surprised if we don't hear that more from people. So just stay tuned on that. Like I said, I don't have any updates, but certainly something to look at. And then just a couple of other items, and nothing really new with these. I do want to continue to reiterate this WorkShare program. I know we've been talking about it just about every day, but I'm starting to become convinced it's probably darn near the best option that's available for companies that are struggling with employees that don't want to come off unemployment. It's basically the premise that if you bring people on and you can work them up to, I believe, 90% of their time, they're still able to collect some unemployment, including the $600 check from the federal government. So I have my concerns as a taxpayer about that, but the reality is if the money is there, If it's a way to basically tell your workers, you can come back to work with us. We're going to pay you, but we're also going to allow you to continue to get that federal subsidy. That might be what's needed to help convince some of these people. So definitely, if you're interested in exploring that more, I know our friends at Michigan Works, Chris Schuler, he was on the call last Friday talking about it. I would definitely engage with Chris on that if you want any more information. Census, keep talking about that. Please, once again, if you've not filled it out, please do so. We're doing very well in Shiawassee County. Would love to have, continued participation. I think we're in the top 150 right now in terms of counties in the country. So that's really good. Want to keep pushing that. And then the last couple of things, I am on a webinar at 10 o'clock today on that PACE funding program. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. Dean from the lodges discussed how they used it. This is a way to finance energy efficiency improvements or renewable energy improvements for your business, for your building. So I won't go into all the details now, but if any of you are looking at that, if that's been on your radar screen, I'm going to be in a webinar at 10 to learn more about that. And then with that, we've talked about some other funding programs, all the old ones that are still out there, the Entrepreneur Resilience Grant, Match on Main, the Metro money, USDA money. If any of you are still looking for money and you're not sure what all these programs are, please definitely get a hold of us. We'll be happy to talk to you. And then testing, as always, if anyone needs testing, Memorial Healthcare is offering that. And jobs, if anyone's hiring, please let us know. We'd be happy to help promote. So a few new things in there, a few old things in there. As I said, I'm going to try to get Larry Johnson on the call either tomorrow or Friday to give you all an update on reopening. I'm going to also probably try to get somebody on to continue to give updates on PPP loan forgiveness. But if there's anything else that we can help you with, please do let us know. We're always available to you. So with that, I'll open up the floor. Any comments or questions anybody has, hit *6 on your phone. Anybody have anything? Okay, well, thanks, everybody. I appreciate your time. Give us a holler if anything new comes up, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks.